What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. Now, today we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by M80, the A&R extraordinaire. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. As everybody can see in the background, got lots of plaques on the walls, lots of other things. Yes. So many, many things to see. And we'll be seeing more of those and talking about a lot of that today with M80. And M80 has a brand new book. I'll put the link down there in the description. He's showing it right there, 100 Ways I've Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry. So
That's
M80,
right.
M80. So
Yes, sir.
people always say rap is a contact sport. It seems as though through your book, I got to shout out my one of my mentors, Alan Gordon, told me that the first the first time. From your experience and from what you've seen and lived through, why is rap such a contact sport?
Um, oh man, it is just, it's like people don't understand that there's a way to act on the streets, there's a way to act in the boardrooms, so on and so forth. So if you don't understand the differentiation of like how to play what role and what setting, then you're just going to live your whole life as a savage. And a lot of these artists only understand what they're accustomed to. So if you're only used to doing business on the streets and, you know, you're just going to act like that throughout the entirety of your life. Um, and that's what it comes down to. It's like there's, I think that a lot of these issues that are brought up in the book, everything clearly could be resolved just from talking it out. But a lot of times people won't let you get to that point, and that's why rap is such a physical contact sport itself.
And one thing that I thought was a recurrent theme throughout 100 Ways I Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry is that it seems like, and I haven't had nearly as many life or death scenarios as it seems you have, but
Yeah.
I've often also found that the artists and the people around them are actually surprised when you stand up for yourself, even a little bit.
Yes.
So why do you think, first of all, it seems like that's true, but for you, is that true? And if so, why do you think
Yeah.
that's the case?
Um, because it's all about intimidation. It's all about people feeling like they can punk you and get over on you. It's like people don't like. I work with 200 some artists and dozens of factions and groups and labels and so on and so forth. People don't need me to be the toughest guy in the room. They need me to be the brains. They need me to be the intellectual. They need me to be able to decipher a contract and point out the pros and the cons. And ultimately, I'm best suited to bring the most money to the artist to the table. So therefore, I don't have to be the hardest motherfucker alive. Okay, just play your role, M80, and everything else will be straight. But at the same time, if there's ever an issue, they only know how to be the tough guys back to me. And I can't just sit there and allow myself to get punked out. Like I've done everything you can imagine under the sun when it comes to the streets and, behind the books. That being said, I have no choice but to speak up for myself. And it's not even a situation like it's not even about right or wrong. It's literally just about the pride of the situation. And that's where a lot of people can't let that shit go. I'll be the first one to set my pride to the side, the ego to the side, in the interest of getting to the bag, the interest of getting the best results from an artist or from a project or from a tour or whatever it might be. And also just keeping things moving forward. A lot of people are very close-minded, short-minded, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to just, I want mine and I want it now. I've worked records where the artists are like, well, I don't believe in back end and I don't believe in royalties and publishing and so on and so forth. So just give me this amount of money right here, right now, and I'll do it. And then I've put in all the work. I've believed in the back end. I've believed in the success of the project and gone on to make more money on a project than the actual artists themselves because I'm the one literally doing all the fucking grunt work. Where it's like an artist should never feel like there's no, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They should always feel like if it's something they made, then they want to see it succeed and they're willing to do whatever they can. And a lot of artists really take like this easy route of just getting the bag and moving on to the next thing. And I think that's what has really been a hindrance to hip hop and people really furthering their mentality when it comes to understanding the business and becoming just better all around human beings, like interpersonal, in the business sense, like in your home sense, like you got to learn to separate, like when you need, when I at least I've learned had to learn when to turn on and off the M80 switch, and I can be Matt Markoff in my house, and be a loving husband and father, and then when I need to be the fucking hard ass when it comes to business, or just the good guy you can like identify with, get along with, respect my character, and do good business by.
Yeah. And in the book, 100 Ways I Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry, one of the more interesting and insightful things was a gem or jewel that Planet Asia shared with you that the value of the man is more valuable than the dollar.
Yes.
So, uh, obviously, we want people to read the book. And like I said, the link is below. Definitely check it out. You could buy it, digital download for free, all kinds of ways to get it. But for you, M80, when Planet, and you refer to that actually multiple times in the book, that little wisdom from Planet Asia. So when he said that to you, what did it mean? And then as the years have gone on, what other meaning has that kind of lesson or that insight given you?
The reference in the Asia chapter, oh, the reference in the Asia chapter was like we're on tour and this guy that none of us ever met before was like promising like me the world, and in turn I wanted to help Asia. Like, hey, I'll buy some of your catalog and I'm going to launch it exclusively on my distribution platform. And I was like, cool, why not? Fuck it, let me go get the bag. Asia, without knowing who the guy was or anything about his platform or even wanting to entertain it, had more reservations. Um, and the lesson was like, we can't just take money just because people have money to offer. Now, I've seen now that's a perfect example of like, not all money is good money. Like, if you don't understand where it's coming from, understand the ramifications that comes with the acceptance of the dollar, so on and so forth. I've seen a lot of artists use that in the wrong context. Like, I remember we did this Ghostface Killer album, and the label was putting up a budget to shoot a video and Ghostface used that line on me. He's like, "Not all money is good money." I'm like, "That's the completely wrong context. Like, this is the definition of this money being good money. The label's paying for you to do this video for your album. There's no, you know." And then I think it hit home for him like weeks later, and he's like, "Hey, can we still get that bag?" I'm like, "No, you told me to go tell the label to go fuck themselves, and I didn't sugarcoat it. I told them you said go fuck off." Um, Asia, Ghostface, whoever I might be working with, the majority of my artists in the roster are Golden Era vets. They have been on multiple labels, majors, independents, worked with various management, worked with various booking agencies, the whole nine. They've like been there, done that, seen it all. So all I can do essentially, I'm younger than 98% of the artists I work with is learn from their career paths of what worked, what didn't work, and apply it to my own life. And the main thing with me is learning from their financial pitfalls. Just kind of like they call it the MC Hammer effect, where MC Hammer not only took care of himself, but like a staff and friends and family network of say like 100 people. And it was at a time where he was making so much money, in his eyes, the well was never going to run dry. But I've seen the well run dry and become prevalent again and dry and back and forth, with a lot of these people I work with, from your A-listers down to your D and E listers. And that's the main thing I've taken away from it is being fiscally responsible, and making sure I'm like setting a good like blueprint for myself and for my family, because at the end of the day, that's all we have is our family. And I would never want to shortchange any of my loved ones just because I never thought there would be rainy days ahead.
Hmm. Gotcha. And to that point, another thing I really thought was interesting, 100 Ways I Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry, was how you talked about how you've promoted and produced all these shows and only two of them didn't make money. So,
Right.
wh why on each show did it not make money? And then how did you adjust what you were doing so that that didn't happen again?
So, context here, I lived in New York, I lived in San Francisco, and it didn't matter what day of the week it was. Any day of the week that ended in day was a popping day, depending on what your interest might be. Club nights, concert nights, bar nights, whatever, sports nights. So when I moved back to the Midwest, I started producing concerts under the banner Holy Toledo Productions and would just happen with various bars across the city and bring the artists that I worked with on both coasts, like that typically had not been on tours in the Midwest. And if they had, it had been a while, hadn't been in a while. And I would utilize resources in Indianapolis and in various cities in Ohio, like Cincinnati and Columbus and Toledo and Michigan and Illinois and Missouri, and then like just make this same run and bring all these artists through, like Cannabis, Killer Priest, Keith Murray, Diggable Planets, Black Sheep, so on and so forth. Um, then I was like really had a stronghold on the bar scene in Indianapolis, and that's when I partnered with Live Nation to do like these bigger acts where it's like they would take care of the venue expenses, I'd take care of the town expenses, and we split it 50-50, which I did really for the cool points of it. It was like I was bringing bigger talent. Like I went from doing shows that were like 10 grand and less at these small bars, only 300-400 caps, to filling out venues that were 2,000 caps, 8,000 caps, 20,000 caps, and having my name attached to the likes of Drake and Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz and T.I. and you name it, like big shit. I did excellent, like boatloads of Wiz Khalifa shows and Kendrick shows and Big Sean and stuff like that. It's like, and I've done a dozen Tech Nine shows, so it's like it helped build my resume. It got more people to know me in the Midwest as the concert guy, which then in turn helped my A&R business, which then brought more clients through to like my feature brokering business, and it was all relative. So. It was like I was using the concert production side of things to strengthen my relationships with these artists to then be able to make more money with them, brokering features, shows, mixtape hostings, like whatever it might be. As a hip hop lover, when I started producing concerts, the only shows I booked and artists I booked were people I loved and respected and grew up admiring. It was never like, let me book Young Jeezy because the Midwest loves that trap shit and that's a quick way for me to make a buck. I would have rather booked a show where I just like broke even just so people were entertained. It looked good for the city and like I got the cool points from it. So I booked two shows that did not make money, and they were both essentially shows I wanted that I like pushed on Live Nation that they really wanted to pass on. And they were crazy losses to me because in my mind, it's like there's enough hip hop fans in Indianapolis. It's not all trap. It's not all mainstream. It's not all make believe Atlanta. The two shows I lost on were Mob Deep, rest in peace, Prodigy, with Raekwon and Ghostface, kind of like the tour they're doing right now with Havoc and Ray, but when it was full. So Havoc and Prodigy is Mob Deep, Ray and Ghostface with Capadonna, and Supernatural. And Alchemist was on that tour as well, and that lost money. Then I lost on the first ever Smokers Club tour, which you have Method Man from Wu-Tang Clan headlining, Big Crit, Smoke DZA, Currency, um, Shice Bub, and a few others. And it's like the city didn't react to it. That's when I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like, imagine you get to go see the show for $30 and I lost 7,000. So I paid 7,000 to watch the same thing you just watched for 30. And you just got to eat it. That comes with the game. But luckily, I think I produced 74 concerts during my time in Indy that were just with the Live Nation side of things. I produced probably another 30 that was just all Holy Toledo Productions. So to only lose on two is a blip. There were shows where I'd make 10, 15, $20,000. There's shows where I'd make a grand. But the fact is, if you have 98 wins and two losses, you brush it off. So that led me to be like, fuck this. I'm just gonna book what the city wants versus like it was like the M80 show before that. I can call members of Wu-Tang and have them perform in my backyard essentially. Like it's a venue, you know. But then when I just started booking shit that was more mainstream in nature, that's when I never had to worry about the money. Except Kendrick Lamar was the most stressful show, and this is in the book too. Um, we booked a TDE tour, and Kendrick, Good Kid, Mad City had just come out. So the tour was Kendrick, Absol, J Rock, Schoolboy Q, with special guest Kid Ink as the one non-TDE member. I think we put up 125, 130 grand, and it didn't go into profit until day of show, and I split like 2 grand. So like wagering 125,000 to make 126 is not the move. But I was stressing my ass off. In fact, the night before, these two girls came over and were like, look, we can tell you're stressed out. Like, do you want to have a threesome with us? And I was like, leave, bitches. I need to concentrate. And then looking back on it, I probably should have taken the 15, 20 minutes to just do that. And then gone back into my worrisome Hebrew routine of wondering where the money's coming from.
I see.